piranha. It's blah 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 blah. Here, this way. Run at this way. Please do not touch the. Whoa!
I don't really. If you have any questions before we get started, alligators, crocodiles, sharks, bears, big cats, women. You don't think I know? Trust me, girl, I know. What are you laughing at? Yes, dear, no, dear, you're right, I'm wrong. Here's my wallet. You look good in it. Flowers every 2 weeks from the florist, not the supermarket, you cheapskate. Hey, 5 good vacations a year. Got some smelly alligator pit in Lauderdale at a construction site during a pandemic. A little bit of bling from time to time. If all else fails, I buy you a puppy. I walk it, I bathe it, I feed it, I clean up after it, I train it, but somehow it's yours. You just cuddle and put pictures on Instagram. Reverse. Apology accepted. No questions? Not any annoying questions I ask all the time, like, why don't they attack you? Always sound disappointed, too. That's why we came here. My favorite one is, how come they're not moving? As everyone sits motionless in their seats. The audacity of that question alone. What do you got, son? You're gonna do that a lot faster. You're not gonna do anything. Well, if you had your head in the concrete, you're smiling too.
That one's getting back. That one's getting up back there.
Don't yawn during my show. That's Cooper. He's brand new. I don't want to trust Cooper. Alright, before we get started, I do want to explain a few things about these alligators I use in my gator shows. All the gators you see in this pit are what's known as nuisance alligators. Especially you. That means they all came from somebody's backyard pond, canal, swimming pool, came off a golf course, ate the neighbor's dog, something like that. That's funny to you? Excuse me. Some little girl's best friend gets devoured by an alligator. Somehow you find it amusing. You're absolutely sick. Hey, mad respect. I think it's funny too. Not if it's a Labrador or a German Shepherd or an Irish Setter. That is a tragedy. She meant the little punt-passing kick dogs that nobody likes. Tell that kid to stop crying and get a real cat. I know there's one Chihuahua owner that wants to stone me to death right now. It's just jokes. It's just jokes. Now, if you have a nuisance alligator, or trappers usually called out, hopefully for you and your pets and catchers who lose the alligator, it doesn't matter if that alligator is 3 feet or 13 feet. If it takes them 5 minutes or 5 weeks, they charge you the same price every time, and that price is nothing. Alligator removal, absolutely free in the state of Florida. Got a raccoon in the attic, about $400. 11-foot alligator in the backyard killing grandma, but don't worry, that's free. Alligator removal is free because the alligator itself is the payment. The trapper gets to keep that alligator, which you would then take to a processing plant where they will kill it, and it then gets paid for the valuable meat and hide. That's where you get alligator boots, belts, handbags, wallets, and all that kind of stuff. The state of Florida kills about 8,000 nuisance alligators every single year, and usually just because they swam through somebody's backyard canal a couple of times. The state of Florida is also pretty smart. They save a tremendous amount of money, but more importantly for them, they save liability by not hiring and paying a trapper. Just let them keep and harvest the animal. That way, every time a trapper's arm gets ripped off, there's no workman's compensation to worry about, no disability. Just scratch another name off a list and get a new trapper. Now, the lucky ones, alligators that is, I will buy off those trappers or I trap myself. I am a licensed trapper here in the state of Florida. And yes, that was my mother's dream for me. The day that I was born in Massachusetts. It certainly was not. I'm one of the very few, if not the only, committed non-kill trapper in the whole state. Not too many non-kill trappers in the state because, quite frankly, not many people are dumb enough to work 30 to 60 hours a week for free. Especially trying to save an animal that would love to rip your face off the first time that you meet them. Now, when I get a gator, they will generally come here overnight and then get relocated to Wildlife Sanctuary down in Homestead. They can never truly go back to the wild. Any nuisance alligator that exceeds 4 feet in length, according to Florida state law, must be kept in captivity or be destroyed. Only 2 options. They tried to relocate these guys in the wild years ago, way back when they were endangered. Back then, if a gator ate your dog, they put him 50 miles out in the Everglades. 2 months later, your new puppy would vanish. The same gator found his way home. Still friendly to you, isn't it? At least you're consistent. They relocate him a second time to an even more remote location. 4 or 5 months later, you turn around somehow, some way, he's back at the house and won't leave. Wow. My sister had a boyfriend like that one time. No, trust me, him I got rid of. Thanks, guys. That guy laughed. Make it seem like that didn't really happen. You know, you guys are adorable. Now, what we do in this pit is alligator wrestling, kind of, sort of. There's 3 guys, 1 girl, that actually volunteer their time here to do these shows. We're not employees of the park, and that is due to liability again. It's the same as a trapper. Apparently all lawyers think alligators are absolutely ferocious. Is that even comfortable? Therefore, the only money we do take in, believe it or not, does come solely through the donation basket you see down the end. On the 2 days a week that I'm here, the money goes to the alligators. Not directly. Because I tried that and they blow it all on gambling and booze. And now, that's why half of you are in Florida right now. That's the Hard Rock crew right there. Now we gotta have this fiduciary relationship where I use it to help pay for the food, the vet bills, buying the gators from the other trappers, enclosures for sick and injured animals, equipment to get these guys. That's what essentially funds the whole rescue. Now the alligator wrestling itself, that is not like wrestling on television. Yes, I actually have to say that. Some people really think there's going to be like headlocks and body slams, and young boys in particular get really disappointed. Because right now, my man's hoping I grab a folding chair and start smashing alligators in the head. Not that kind of wrestling. If you came to see the old man versus beast thing, you in the wrong place. These guys are part of my family in here. I'm not going to kick or punch or hurt the alligator in any way. I'm not going to run around, poke and jab it out with a stick like some Everglades. And they're not going to attack me, sorry. All alligator runs, slow down, man, you pull a hamstring. It's like a cheetah. A mortally wounded cheetah. All alligator wrestling really is the traditional Seminole Indian capture techniques, mimicked in a pit like this with a few stunts thrown in. Now, for those of you that may be familiar, get out of here, you sky rat. Come on, you sky rat. I'm working on a baby alligator gun to shoot at those things. For those of you that may be familiar with a television show I had on Animal Planet called Gator Boys, or any one of the crocodile documentaries I filmed over the years, you may notice a different reaction between the gators and crocs you may have seen me catch on television and the gators you see in this pit. If I get this close to a wild alligator or crocodile, it's going to do one of 2 things. I guarantee you, neither of which is this. He's going to either A, make some huge explosive move to attack me, but that would be out of self-defense. That's him thinking, I'm the threat, I'm the predator. But more than likely, for that same reason, he'll make an equally explosive move, but only to escape. Either way, there'll be some massive explosion of energy. Massive explosion of energy. All right, these guys don't do a whole lot of that stuff. They don't do that because almost every gator in this pit has been here long enough to realize that I am not going to hurt them. And once that kind of settles in, there is no real motivation to make these huge explosive movements they're so famous for. Every time you see a wild alligator, or crocodile for that matter, making those explosive movements, that is absolutely exhausting for the animal. These guys are ectothermic or cold-blooded. They really only have a handful of those moves in them before their bodies begin to build up with lactic acid, and eventually they can barely move. So if these guys all know that the worst, can you get your head off my foot? The worst possible outcome that could ever happen is me sitting on the back over here for like 10 minutes. It's not worth fighting me all out for the next 15 minutes and being totally exhausted for the slowly remetabolizes. Next minute. If there's one thing they're good at, besides ruining my life, it's conserving energy. You look at a good-sized gator like Godzilla, Debo, Darth Gator, Zeus, Fahrenheit behind me, Hector the bone collector over there. These guys can easily go 4 or 5 months with no food at all.
Wow.
This is what they do for a living. And they're really, really good. That doesn't mean they love me and we're friends and we take windy walks together at night. Trust me, Zeus doesn't love me. Not like he used to. I still remember a time when you and I were just, we used to sit and we would talk for hours.
Oh my.
Lately, I kind of feel like we don't even communicate. Look, even now, I'm trying to reach out and you withdraw. You know, I can't fix it if I don't know what's broken. You say something, I'm giving up on you.
Oh, look at the hand. It's funny.
You know what the really sad part is? Sad part is I have these conversations with Zeus when nobody else is even here.
So that's true.
There's no way this is comfortable. This is ridiculous.
Oh my goodness. Look at that.
It's not bad. No, it doesn't look comfortable, but it's not bad. I think they're all there. Okay. Now again, they don't like me. They obviously don't really dislike me. This is actually a lot like my parents' house around Christmas time. Everybody just kind of tolerates me because they feel obligated. Now I do have a certain rotation system I use to try to make sure each gator only does one show throughout the day. But I'm going to try to, it's not Godzilla's show, but it is now. Because if he gets in that corner, I can't drag him back. He's got a fat, stumpy tail, and I got small hands. Doesn't work out too well. That's a myth. The small hands thing is a myth. It's a myth. And if it wasn't, don't you think I'd be doing something obvious to overcompensate?
Look at his feet. It looks like Godzilla's feet.
It's still a myth. Godzilla, can you do the show now so I have to drag you over there later? Come on, look. Come on, let's go. Show time. Yay, so
Godzilla.
do the show.
It's Godzilla.
Godzilla. What's that alligator's name? Godzilla. Come on, let's go, son. Come on, baby boy. Just come on, do the show, baby.
Come on, Godzilla.
Just get it done. Get it done with. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. I'm gonna step on your toes. How's that? Ooh, wow, that works. Come on, let's go.
Oh my God.
Just that way. Just walk right through them if you have to. Never wait, Sebastian. Come on, sir. Thank you, sir. We're all working together as a well-oiled machine right now. This is all good. Come on, Zilla. Let's go. Ow! Come on, Zilla. No! Can I interest you in a bride? I'm going to bribe you. I don't usually do this. He gets in that corner, I'm going to lose him.
Where did he go?
Oh, he get a fresh meat. He gonna give Godzilla, right?
Can you even see it? Look at the other alligators. They're all in this. All the others are not in here. He doesn't even share.
I'm going to do these back.
Are you like?
They're all like trained to resist.
baby.
Thinks he has more. Oh no. Oh, look at him.
I'll give you another one after the show. Look at why these guys now. This is ridiculous. Saved your life. Should be enough. Get over here, not
Oh.
Sorry, Zeus. Maybe you should put a ring on it. Now, if you're a Seminole warrior, let's say back in the 1800s, and you're out catching alligators, you're doing that to feed your family. But you always want to catch them alive. Alligator meat spoils very quickly in the hot Florida sun. First thing you want to do, obviously, tie the jaws shut. Gator this size has about 2,000 pounds of crushing power per square inch in the jaws. That is enough to crush any bone in your body. Go ahead, show 'em. Just kidding. Tying the jaws by yourself. What are you doing, son? This ain't welfare. This is workfare. Couple of wraps, tie them up, and you have yourself a cotton-type alligator. Now, judging by the complete lack of applause, I'm assuming you people are not really impressed with me or the alligator.
Wow, yeah, that's excellent job.
Really, nothing better for my ego than pity applause when you think about it. If you're looking for me after the show, I'll be checking in the therapist. Hey, if you tried to bite me right now, this would look exciting. This looks like I'm trying to keep my dog in a bathtub. Stop messing.
Oh, God.
Briefly, we're going to touch on a few different parts of the alligator's anatomy. The eyes of an alligator are very well protected, pretty deep eye sockets. Anything threatens the eyes, they drop to the bottom of the eye sockets on the way around. Thick, leathery eyelids come down and help protect them. Lower eyelids like you and I have. He also has that third eyelid called a nictitating membrane, a little transparent lens. May have just moved from front to back, and back to front.
Biggest one.
It acts to clean dust and debris away from the eyes. It also kind of acts as little goggles for the alligator in the water. Behind the eyes, alligator's ears. Little slots right here. Even with these small ears, they still hear just about as well as you and I on land. They also hear very well under the water. What are you doing? You move, I'll kill you. When it's cold, these guys lay out in the sun with that dark black skin. The sun beats down, heats up that skin, and each one of those scutes is covered in little blood vessels. So that blood will heat up, circulate to the body, increasing the energy and metabolism. Because almost every sign, t-shirt, cartoon painting, stuffed animal, rubber toy, high school, college mascot, you can see for an alligator, it's almost always green. Not too smart, but the wall is green, the grass is green, those gators are green. Now what separates alligator wrestling from alligator capturing, of course, dangerous stunts, doing a couple of foolish things like we'll do right now. The first trick is called the Florida Smile. Just simply opening the alligator's mouth if he lets me. Thank you, sir. He's got 40 teeth on top and 40 teeth on the bottom. What are you doing? Again, if you try to just open your mouth, the level of excitement goes through the roof. Just a dog in a bathtub. That's all you are. Hey, my base kid, you been working out? Nice. I think he's on steroids. Get open your mouth, sweetheart. Again, oversized palatal valve or glottis allows him to go underwater, capture food without drowning. He would usually then surface above the water to swallow that food. He likes to make it look dangerous sometimes. He's a bit of a show. Hey, you do realize without me you'd be a suitcase, right?
Suitcase.
Okay? Listen, we're pretty much 0 for 2 on applause right now. This does not represent our best work. Is this thing even on? Check 1, 2. I was like Dave Chappelle all morning. You guys just roll into town like a small funeral. You're probably a laughing on the inside kind of crowd, that's all it is. That's okay, I'll do this last trick so you guys can go back to sleep. I make myself laugh, if nobody else. Last trick is called a face-off, because if by chance I do mess up, yeah. And, I mean, this is also going to show you exactly what a bachelor's degree in psychology is now worth. This is from the University of Massachusetts. My parents wasted a lot of money in college. They don't really appreciate the fact that I make bad jokes about it.
Psychology.
I'm 53 years old. My dad's still telling me to give him his money back. Trust me, that will never happen. Last trick, no hero stuff. Shut up, you sky rat.
No, 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 no,
We
no.
almost made it. The drugs are wearing off. I don't know what to do. Listen, hey, the suitcase thing can still happen, my friend. I make one phone call and you are full of zippers. I can have you in check baggage by next Thursday. It's a joke. You know what, if you stop messing around.
No.
If you slap me in the butt with that tail, you better buy me some flowers and tell me you love me first. Hey, I am not a prude. When you start smacking me around, I expect a little romance first, okay? Otherwise, you just feel cheap.
No.
Whoa.
You are Joey to get snapped.
That's enough of that stuff.
Wow.
Get off the alligator, best part of the show for me, but for Jigsaw too. That must be jelly, because jam don't shake like that. It's amazing how fast they move, isn't it? Wow. Now, hey, at least now you can appreciate why you have to run zigzag. Yep, because otherwise they would never catch you. They started the whole thing. Ever heard of that? Just an alligator run zigzag? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my entire life. And that is not your fault. They've been pushing that on students and tourists down here for like 50 years. Don't run zigzag, just run. If you're going to do anything, you trip the kids and you walk away with dignity. Not your own kids if you can help it. Hey, but if it comes down to it, come on, man. They're smaller and faster than we are. You got a much better chance. That kid is so hopped up on Mountain Dew and Skittles right now. That gator has no chance. That kid will be doing that reverse matrix flip, running upside down. Gator's like, oh crap, he's on Skittles. Nobody got time for that. Alright guys, with that, that is the end of the show. Again, anything in the basket down there does going to help save more of these beautiful alligators. Just like Jigsaw. Always appreciate it. Thanks for coming out, guys, and God bless.